What is up, everybody? Miles TV is back with my episodic reviews, and today we're going to do something I've always been wanting to do for a while now. We are doing a review on Worlds Beyond Number, the Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One. I think it's like an abbreviation for the name and everything, but I've been wanting to do this review for a while. I think they are, for where I am in the show, they are about 34 episodes in. So a little bit of the catch up to do there. But if you have not heard of Worlds Beyond Number, this is a podcast with Brennan Lee Mulligan, Erika Ishii, Aabria Iyengar, and Lou Wilson. Out the gate, Lou Wilson is my favorite. The first time I ran into Lou Wilson was a Dimension 20 show called Fantasy High. He played Fabian Seacaster. Best character in the show for me. But we're not here to talk about that. But Erika Ishii is a voice actor. I know she does a couple of shows, movies, and video games. And Aabria is a DM. I think she is accredited as one of the three greatest DMs. You got Brennan, you got Matt Mercer, and then you got Aabria. They're the big three in my book, or I've always heard people talk about. So this is a 3-man campaign. I have always known Brennan to do funny things like Fantasy High. I know he's been on Critical Role and other shows, but he is an improv genius. You can't throw a stone too far in the D&D world without talking about Matt Mercer or Brennan Lee Mulligan. And Matt and Brennan are just two opposite ends of the spectrum. I've tried to get into Critical Role and I just couldn't do it. But anything Brennan puts out, he just hits all the right spots for me. Like I said before, he does a lot of funny stuff. There's probably serious stuff out there, but it makes me think of Jim Carrey when he did that one serious movie. But you know, he's good in anything. But this story is completely change of pace from what I know of Brennan. If I had to use one word to describe this story that Brennan came up with, it's just epic. I was first thinking like dark, but nah, it's just epic. I've been explaining to people that this is Brennan's Critical Role, and I don't want to compare the two because they're completely different. Matt Mercer is a great DM. He does his own thing, but Brennan doesn't really do like longer campaigns, and we're 34 episodes in right now, and it just seems like we're gonna keep going. And the story that he's making, the world that he's building, is amazing so far. But why you all came here, let's get into the review. So we start off with Suvi. Aabria Iyengar is playing a character named Suvi, a human. She starts off with her parents and some people named Steele and Yuren. It seems like they're in the middle of a war. There's chaos going on. The description is like everybody's panicked. They're just trying to figure out what to do, where to go. And eventually they try to figure out what to do with Suvi. At this point, you kind of realize that there's a whole sound design team behind Worlds Beyond Number. There's music, there's sound effects, there's modulations for Brennan's voice. It's amazing. It's like top tier. The only thing that can make this better if there was like a TV show to go with this. So the sound design team, I'm not really sure who that is, but they do a really good job of just setting the ambiance and the immersion. But yeah, they try to figure out what to do with Suvi, and we're already crying in this episode as Suvi's parents like use some kind of magic to get this carriage, and they put Suvi in it, and Suvi's like describing what she's feeling and saying goodbye to her parents. Everybody's crying. It is just an emotional powerhouse. The first episode, Aabria set the bar this high. And I think Lou was just like, where do we go from here? But they put Suvi in the carriage and sent to someone that we hear, Grandma Wren. Not Wren with an R, but Wren with a W. And then that scene's in, and we cut to Ame. We cut to Ame, and she is rudely awoken by a rooster. This scene is like you're in a cottage. It's a lot more lighthearted. You wake up with this 7-year-old girl who's training under Grandma Wren to be an apprentice. She is really eager to learn magic. She takes care of all these farm animals. It's just very whimsical. It's very lighthearted, and it just seems like it's a lot of fun here. So it is by far a shift in tone. And Brennan's real good at shifting tones. 1 minute we can be super serious, next minute we can be laughing. He's real good at that. And like I said, he is an improv genius. I think he's done like 7 years of improv. But anyway, Ame's doing her chores when a carriage approaches. And in that carriage, Suvi is there. Then we cut over to Eursulon. Now, there's a joke later in the show about how people pronounce his name. And I try my best. Seeing it written out is a lot better. So if you don't know how to pronounce it, or if you hear it and like, what did he say? Go look it up. But it's Eursulon. We cut to the spirit world. On top of this gigantic spirit great bear is a family of spirits that kind of like a giant turtle, but a bear. I think he has like trees coming out his back and stuff as he roams the spirit world. Eursulon plays with his family, and his sister finds like a mushroom, and they tussle over it. His brothers get involved, and Eursulon runs away and goes through a portal. And then he comes across some knights marching along carrying a flag, and Eursulon looks down onto them, and he's trying to remain hidden, but he is instantly spotted by, and I think this knight is a ranger because he had a pet falcon that he was able to see through its eye. Or he could have been a wizard of the Citadel. Anyway, we're getting off track here. But the knight spots him and tries to call out to Eursulon, but Eursulon is like frozen in some type of fear. So the knight takes off all his gear, all of his armor and his weapons, and he heads over to Eursulon, and he kind of just sits there and chats with him and asks him a few questions. And the knight's like, well, it was been great chatting with you. And he pumps Eursulon up. He's like, you're the protector of these woods. Make sure, thank you for giving us safe passages. But the knight says, he has to go on. And Eursulon picks this up. He bonds with the knight for a little bit. The knight even calls him brother because I think they are under the same symbol of some sort, because he was like, my dad's the great bear and blah, blah, blah. But eventually, Eursulon runs back home. And that's where the episode ends. Now, this is a what is it called? A prelude episode. It is episode 0. I don't think they did a session 0, but they did like a setup for the characters, and it's great. I mean, if we're playing D&D, I would like a session 0, but the introduction for the characters as they're kids, I think they start off as 7-year-old kids, is great. Brennan, and I think we get in a little bit more into this during episode 1, but Brennan is a little long-winded with character introductions and just kind of giving characters their scenes. I've seen a few campaigns of him, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for them to get together. But this episode was it was very much like we got little pieces of everybody, and I think everybody got equal amounts of time there. So not really a problem there, but it is shaping up to be interesting. You don't really know what all these characters have to do with each other or what's going on in the story from episode 0, but it does set you up for the feelings and the emotions of these characters, because you get that Ame is this apprentice who's learning to be a magic user of some sort. Suvi's coming from losing her parents, getting sent into a middle of a war, and her parents sending her away. And then you got Eursulon in the middle of the woods. He's a spirit, and then he comes across these knights that encourage him to, I don't know, just live his best life. So right out the gate, this raises the standard for podcasts everywhere. Like, sound design team, great actors, great story. It's just amazing. Right out the gate, 10 out of 10 for episode 0. Not even episode 1, 10 out of 10. I don't have any complaints about this episode. If my only complaint being I wish there was a episode 0. Session 0, but this still sets up the show perfectly. There is a Patreon for this, and when they all meet up as children, they go on some adventure. It's like $5 a month. You get to listen to all their things, and it is great. If you want to know what happens there, go to the Patreon, listen to it. It's great. You get to find out, because the next episode 1, I think they're all adults. So you get to miss out on the adventure that they go on when they're kids. So if you want to see that, go do that. 10 out of 10. If you're not watching Worlds Beyond Number, do yourself a favor and go listen to it. It is great. We will do episode 2 later. But as always, thanks for tuning in to Miles TV. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.